Hi YouTube, it's Lewis with Rosebud's Travels. I'm going to try to answer a question that's been asked. The question is, can you boondock in a Casita with the standard lead acid battery that comes with the Casita? The answer is yes, you certainly can. And you may ask, well, Lewis, how do you know that you can do that? And the answer is I've actually done it. We've been on a 5,000-mile trip with a Casita with the lead acid battery. We did not buy the upgraded AGM battery. And I did that on purpose because the way the battery pricing is structured, you're basically buying the lead acid battery. And then if you upgrade to the AGM, you're paying for the AGM as well. So you're basically buying two batteries. So what I decided to do is give the lead acid battery a try and see how the lead acid battery worked, and use it for its usable life, and then determine what battery I want to go to as a next step. So the answer is a definite yes. We, on the way up to Maine on this trip, we stayed at several Walmarts and even some in a row. And the way this works is um, when you are parked and you don't have any hookups, it is important to run your refrigerator on gas and on propane. So when you do that, the refrigerator will draw very little power. If you need to do any cooking, you use the propane cooktop, which uses gas, and it's not using any electricity. You will be using your water tank, so you have to make sure that you have some water in your tank, and you turn on your water pump, and then you use your water pump for water. And what we found is doing our regular routine of using, um, cooking supper, washing a few dishes, washing up in the evening before bed. Uh, there was no problem getting that stuff done, and that pump does not use that much battery. It doesn't. It's a fairly low draw motor, and it doesn't use that much battery. And then we used the fantastic fan overnight, and there isn't a problem running the fantastic fan overnight. We would open windows, turn on the fantastic fan, and have it draw out, and it would draw air through the casita, and we'd have ventilation, and it was great. Um, in the in the newer casitas, they do provide this battery monitor thing that you plug into a socket, 12-volt socket style deal. And in the newer casitas, there's two of those. There's one under the seat that I'm sitting on currently in a Spirit Deluxe, and there's one up by the television. Um, and what this does is it gives you a general idea of the state of the battery. So this actually automatically comes with the newer 2019 Casitas. So what you can do is you can get an idea of the state of the charge of the battery as you're using it. And like I said, it went fine. The other thing that we do is we use a Verizon Jetpack for our internet. This is battery operated, and so it is using no power when we are using phone. If we connect our phone to this for internet, it's not using any power. Your phone has a battery, and as long as you're if the battery's charging the phone, you're not using any power in the trailer either. So it's a good idea during the day as you're driving to charge. If you have a jetpack, to charge your jetpack. You can do some charging in the trailer, and it will be using battery to charge some of these things. So you just have to kind of pay attention to how much battery you're using when you're charging up things, especially if you're going to charge a laptop or something, because a laptop is a much bigger draw than even like these items and phones. Phones and these items are a fairly small draw. But so our typical way of operating would be to plug these in the car as we're driving, and then when we would get to the destination, this would be charged, ready to go. Phone would be charged, ready to go. And then the battery of the trailer would operate the refrigerator. It'll operate the fantastic fan. Make sure you have LED lights in your trailer because they draw very little power. If you have the regular light bulbs, I would suggest changing them out because it draws a substantially more amount of power with the regular light bulbs. So I would definitely change to the LED light bulbs. And your water pump, as I said, it can work just fine. Your water heater will be operated by gas. Make sure that you're operating that as gas for water heater when you are parked and you're boondocking. And that draws very little electricity, just enough to ignite the gas, and that's it. And then, like I said, there is no problem boondocking overnight. And then the next day, when you're driving, your car will be charging your battery up again to completely charged. And then you can then boondock the next day if you want as well, which we did several times. So it is something that does work. And just as long as you're using devices that either draw nothing or draw very little. Our TV is not a 12-volt TV. The Casitas come with a 12-volt TV, and those might even work. I don't know exactly what those draw, and that's something you would have to look into. Our particular TV plugs into a 110 socket, and it's actually 19 volts. It has a transformer. So when we're boondocking, we don't actually run the TV at all because we don't bother. But everything else, like to typically operate, works fine. Your refrigerator works fine. Your water works fine. Your water heater works fine. Your lights work. Everything works. You have ventilation. The fantastic fan will work. And just as long as you're in a cooler location where opening your windows and using the fan will work, you will have no problem parking without hookups. And you just have to make sure that you have some water. And other than that, you're in good shape. And the next day as you drive, it'll completely charge things up. And then you charge all your devices up also. And then every once in a while, you can check with your little battery monitor device and just see what the status of the battery is. And then that'll let you keep tabs on roughly what the state of the battery is. And then, like I said, we never had any problem doing it overnight, and we did it several times. So that's the answer to that question. If you have any questions for me, ask them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. And just want to let you know, it is possible with a standard Casita, straight from the factory, lead-acid battery, you can camp overnight. I'll see you in the next video.